Although to be fair, Nintendo it definitely was the pioneer with that with the directional pads too. I mean,
That's
like
fair.
Yeah, the Super NES. I mean, oh man, that D-pad. Like if I could, I would probably try to use the Super Nintendo controller to play Celeste, but there's no analog sticks, so then my feather movement is kind of.
Yeah, I actually have used, there's a company 8-Bit Do that makes a, oh, look at those file names, PACE2019.
Oh, nice.
Shout outs. I wonder when and where that event will be.
Yeah, I wonder what that's going on.
And we've got these guys starting off on race number 2. I'm going to go ahead and have that little icicle block fall, but yeah.
You know, I heard that with that block, I don't think it actually will fall and kill the player. I think it's
Really?
like designed like if you stand under it, it'll just keep shaking until you actually move forward, and then that's when it'll fall. I could be wrong, but
Because, like, I'm trying to think, like, is there really a place where you could take a death in this area?
oh, you can definitely fall into some pits.
Oh, yeah, that's right. There's
Either falling into some chasms or hitting retry, and I am guilty of both.
I just, as many times as I've seen Prologue, it's still like, it's not very memorable, I feel like. So all the gaps and such, it's really easy to just forget about them.
And so we are now back in City again. And again, if you've watched the first game, you have the general route and what's going on here. So as you can see, the wall bounces, I think it's hard to say, like, I feel like wall bounces are just as important as getting your hypers and your ultras down.
Oh, definitely, because the wall bounces actually do some interesting things with momentum as well.
Yeah, it just allows you to get a lot more height off of stuff, and it keeps the speed too. So it just is really nice. Are we gonna see a corner boost into ultra? Yes, we are from both runners. Nicely done. It's now Sushi getting into about 75% of the way through City here. Dashing into that spring. Another wall bounce here. And we're going to see a spike jump here. What's nice about this is that little ledge there lines you up, so it's very easy just to get that spike jump. Oh no, Flad missing the ledge there. Let's try again. All right, he gets it there. So Sushi is going to clock in at 134 with a 103 City. Flad with a 136 and a 105, so just a 2-second difference here as we head into Old Site.
And, you know, like that last race kind of showed, Old Site, you really don't expect a whole lot to happen, but again, you are still having to focus on that movement optimization that can cause some unfortunate deaths in some unexpected areas. And while we're listening to part of the soundtrack that honestly could have been made by a legend like Boards of Canada or Autich or just or Brian Eno or something, quick shout outs. We do have copies of the Celeste vinyl and cassette OST as well as Celeste Steam codes that we will be giving away to our subscribers. So if you would like to have a chance at any of that awesome stuff, go ahead and sub to the channel, and you'll also get our awesome emotes like GSA GG, GSA Fire, etc. And finally, for every sub or 500-bit donation, we will be adding $2 to our prize pools. So a win-win-win, as these guys hoping to get 5 wins over Battling at the end of this chase.
I mean, off the bat, Sushi is having a very fantastic Old Site right now. I am not seeing any errors on his screen. Flat as well. Ooh, that was very close, though.
Yep.
It's now in this final room. So this room, we have 5 Battlings chasing after you. And they really don't come to head until you get to this section here, where you just have them constantly coming at you. From a casual playthrough, it is a nightmare, because you're just trying to figure out which way to go.
Yep.
So Sushi's going to be the first out and heading towards the telephone booth here.
Yeah, which this telephone booth cutscene is a really interesting one. So if you've never played this game casually, this whole section you're actually asleep, which is why it looks like on Msushi's side he just restarted the level just with like some aesthetic differences. And at the very end there, you get a phone call like when you walk up to the information booth, and it's like it's an ex-boyfriend or something, right? It's someone that like it stresses Madeline out.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually curious to see if that actually is going to come into play with the Chapter 9 DLC.
Oh yeah, I'm so excited for that DLC.
Everybody, I mean, the big comment is when's Chapter 9, and you know, they keep saying soon, and I do appreciate that. And you know, developing a game is tough.
Oh, yeah.
You know, it's by far, and you know, they want to make sure that they get everything right. So, I'm all for waiting to get that final product, and honestly, I'm very excited for it because I get to experience Celeste again for the first time.
You can play custom maps and such all you want, but having something designed by Matt is certainly
And like with the story and then
Yes.
everything else just coming together. It's like one of my regrets because I did stream this game as a casual playthrough and I did not save the VOD for it. And so I do regret that because I would love to go, like if I could, I would love to experience this game for the first time, every time. But then again, that would also entail about like 5,000 deaths in addition to that. So
yeah, probably something like that. I forget what my death counter was, but it was pretty high up.
All right, so now we are back in resort here, getting these key switches here.
Yeah, so these key switches, not exactly sure if we've seen a situation where this would apply, but if you end up taking a death in the room, even if you've activated all the key switches, the block will still reset. So it's really important, especially like once you've spent the time actually getting all of your keys, to go ahead and actually finish out that screen. Glad you can see it on his face. They're really disappointed in that mistake on the falling platform with the dust bunnies. Sushi making some nice substantial progress through the huge mess. Sushi with a decent lead starting out this race number 2, which is really interesting to see.
Missing the opportunity for the spike jump there, but able to get it the second try. So not too bad of a loss. As he finishes up his crates here, he's going to exit here at about 5:12. Flat having a little bit of hang up here in this dust bunny room. But able to get clear and is heading towards his own spike jump, nailing that first try.
Yeah, so when you come, when you jump up and like have Madeline come out from under that corner, you're able to get a wall bounce off of the wall, despite it being a spiked wall. So yet another instance of what I think is just such a cool tech in this game. I mean, the movement mechanics are of course the #1 coolest tech, but spike jumping and the like actual game engine stuff behind it is just really cool to me.
Oh, Flat ran into a little mishap there, running into those books.
Ooh, and then
some changes
having to
there.
go
Oh,
ahead
wow.
and back up. He wasn't able to get the dash out when he wanted to, but very nice wall bounces to back up and get back to where he needed to be.
I also point out in that room too, they have those like tendrils that are there. So if Madeline comes across them, they actually turn into dust bunnies, as you see there on Sushi's screen. So it makes it so you can't necessarily land back on that area.
Yeah, and so you kind of have to plan like a one-way route through the entire screen, which in a lot of screens isn't too bad, but there are some times where it causes a lot of hiccups. And we see Sushi going to be moving now into the demo dash section and ending
was
up
that?
giving up by accident.
Oh,
What?
no.
Oh,
Okay,
man.
no, it's fine.
Yeah.
He's in elevator shaft, but oh my god, that
Yeah,
would
so-
have been super scary.
That actually, I
You
don't
know
think
what?
caused...
Wait a minute, it did. Now, does that actually faster? Because it looked like he didn't even go into the room. He already had unlocked the elevator shaft. So
That's-
if it does, theoretically, that's going to save some time.
That'd be
Very
really fascinating if
interesting.
that saved time. I mean, certainly the optimal point to give up if you wanted to. And since the game is using in-game time, the time that he went back out to the menu didn't actually count for anything.
Yeah.
So that, if you're thinking that incurred major time loss, not quite. Flad with that nice first try demo. Let's see if Sushi can go ahead and match. Or wait, he already did match, my bad. Sometimes the rooms can get a tad disorienting.
Yeah, I'm hoping that chat gets a clip of that because I do want to investigate that. That was, I'm still like shook about that give up there. Oh,
Sushi dashing right into the dust bunny. That is pretty well going to, yeah, that gives Vlad the lead, just barely. Yeah, by about a second. Wow, okay. We've certainly got ourselves a race coming out of resort.
All right, we are getting closer to the final screen. Anybody that plays Celeste casually or from Speedrun, they know this screen all too well.
Yep.
It's just
And this is
like-
a really rough one to die on the end of, just because of how long it is.
So she's gonna get out. Looks like close to 8 minutes here. Actually, Flat having a little bit of hang up here and coming at 8:01, and actually we have another lead change.
Yep.
They're going back and forth, folks. This
And
is
just
gonna
a second apart, we've got ourselves a setup for a really nice and close race all the way through. Let's hope these guys are able to go ahead and continue this on into chapter 4.
be- Sushi heading into Golden Ridge again. The wind is going to be coming back. As always, there's a little crow buddy there, just kind of casually hanging out.
Doesn't even really tell you anything. He's just kind of chilling.
I feel like both runners had a very decent ridge. I don't remember too many hangups or mishaps, so
Yeah,
this
same
is
here.
par for the course. And then this is one of those levels where it's like you just want to get it down and get it over with. It's like I said, I know from my own run, my time save is in this chapter, and I just don't want to practice it because it means I have to actually play this level. So.
Yep. And so we have those nice Archies. Very clean.
Is Flat taking a death there?
Archie, certainly the most important strat in the game.
All right, Msushi getting ready for the auto scroller here. Actually, you know what would make me want to play and practice this level more? If I had the ability to change the soundtrack to get the B-side.
Yes, the B-side soundtrack is just so much better.
Like if I could have the B-side as be the official soundtrack for 4A, I'd probably play this all the time.
Yup.
All right, Sushi's setting. Oh, ooh! He tried to go for that reverse hyper and had a miss input and almost resulted in a death there. That would have been extremely bad. Was able to recover, but now missing his coyote jump there, or coyote frames. He's gonna just kind of get off there. So basically for that strat, you want to jump. It looks like you're jumping actually off the block, but the game I guess is a little lenient to the point where like if you're just off a block and you press jump, they'll be like, you know what, we'll give it to you. It's fine. So that allows for that skip to work there. And now Flat actually, I think Flat might be ahead here. Let's see. 10:06 on Sushi's side, getting ready to go into cliff face. And 10:02. So yeah, Flat again has the lead here, about 4 seconds. Again, these guys are just
swaps back and
just
forth.
throwing blows back and forth here as we head into cliff face. And there's a lot of opportunities here. We got these snowballs coming into play. So basically, the snowballs are similar to Ishiro. They kind of, they pay attention to where Madeline is on the screen, and they just come straight across. Okay, Sushi's having just a little bit of hiccup here. But the thing about the snowballs is that the closer you get to the end of the screen, the less time you have to react. And they can come out and just be like, well, we want you to start over.
Yep, we saw it in Sushi's game 1 yesterday. That was really, really brutal.
And so now Flat is going to get out with a 10:45 versus a 10:57. So some unfortunate mishaps there on Sushi's side, extending Fladervy's lead as we head into 5A and 5B. Good old Mirror Temple.
Yep. Mirror Temple, certainly a very critical portion of the run.
Some nice movement here off the bat from Fladervy. So get ready to move to this one section here. You see some nice hypers. There's some wave dashes actually from both runners. Oh, Sushi having to readjust. Oh, and taking the death there too.
He's able to go ahead and get moving here over to the key door that Flat just unlocked, as Flat going to be going in for Yeet. Oh, Yeet.
Actually, I had to take more time because he did not have his dash back. Sushi also missing the yeet here too, getting himself readjusted to continue on.
2 for 2 with Miss Yeets, and that is a shame.
I still stand to say that yeet is probably the hardest trick in the game, but
Really?
it's not as detrimental in comparison to Bub's drop. Like if you mess up yeet, it's like, okay, well you can still move forward, even if you get the first half of it. But, you know, obviously if you miss a Bub's drop, that's like a good 10-second loss. So, and I think it's just because like you don't get to really see where you're going because Madeline's moving so fast.
Mm-hmm. And so now we start the B side of Mirror Temple. which even though Bub's Drop is an immensely difficult trick, that certainly, we kind of forget sometimes that the stage itself is also pretty daunting, especially like with these dash block mechanics.
Also another fantastic song.
Yep. And
oh no, Vlad missing the Bub's Drop. This is going to give Sushi an opportunity to catch up here.
yeah, Sushi about to hit the Bub's Drop himself, and
He's
it's
gonna
good
nail
this
it.
first try. So Vlad needs a second try to go ahead and work.
So I believe if Vlad can get this, he's going to still have a lead.
Oh. Just gotta take a breath. You got
Got
this.
the crowd standing behind Vlad. I appreciate that.
Yeah, can we get some hype for Vlad real
Let's
quick?
get some hype. Let's go. I respect the move. I respect just taking that time.
You got this, man. Let's go ahead and keep it quiet this time around. Let him focus. Oh, the wall bounce just didn't come up. Jeez.
There we
Yeah!
go. There we go. That's a fight. Now moving forward, we've got Sushi in the Theo section here.
And there you can see how brutal Bub's Drop really is. It is a very, very unforgiving trick, especially when the timing is just a tad off. And Sushi with some nice progress through the back half of the B side here. So
Sushi in the Crystal Heart room here. Gonna let Theo do all the work and get all the credit as he's trying to run away from him. Like, I don't want to deal with you anymore.
yep.
Actually, that was one of the, I think when I finished this in my casual play, I just yelled, "You do it," and just chucked him because I was like, I had enough. Also, nice coin room there from Fladervy, having that secret assistance to get that bottom coin. He's going to make his way through. Sushi now on reflection.
When Vlad going for this 1.5 cycle with the Seeker movement,
Nicely done.
yeah, that Seeker is just so wild whenever you do it that way.
Now Sushi actually getting into some trouble here in Lake Skip, but able to recover and move forward.
Yeah, if you get like skip second try, you do end up breaking even. Otherwise, it is a just 4-second time save if you get it first try.
And like one of the things with Lake Skip too is if you do mess it up, it's easy to try to brush yourself. And like the trick that I have noticed with myself when trying to do it is that you really want to wait like to the very last minute at the peak of your jump to get that dash. You just want to be just outside of those spikes to get that wall bounce. Wall bounce, possibly a spike jump.
Yep.
Spike bounce. We're gonna merge them together.
Okay, so Vlad with, it looks like about a 30-second or so deficit. Not insurmountable at all,
Oh,
especially
definitely not.
with Sushi's inconsistency we've seen at times in Summit. Overall, a really consistent player, but just occasionally the mistakes start to pile up, and that could certainly give Vlad a huge opening.
Yeah, we'll get a time here.
And the pressure's really on Sushi right now.
Oh, yeah,
he has to
definitely.
perform
Like-
well through this battle and fight. There are numerous screens he could easily lose 10+ seconds.
Yeah, I mean, in day one, we had that one particular screen in the battle and fight where it was looked to be a misinput, or maybe just trying to shave off a couple frames and actually just lost a lot of time. So I wonder if that is on his mind again, because it was 2 races in a row that occurred.
Yeah, I would think it certainly has to be on his mind at least.
All right, so Sushi getting it in top room at 16:49. So we'll get a better gauge here on how much of a lead he has. Nice ultra into the feather from Fladervy. Sushi now getting ready to head into the ravine.
And about to be going in.
With all that battle and hair just swaying and flowing in the wind.
Yep. And the aesthetic choices here, like how they arrange the layers with the hair and the fore and background, and just everything about this area is so cool.
Ooh, nice save.
Wow.
Fladervy getting corner bop there and was able to adjust and recover.
Really, really nice. That's the sort of gameplay that he needs to be pulling out. Not just consistent, but whenever things end up going wrong, be able to recover as quickly as possible. And Sushi going to be going for that battle and boost. Is going to enter at 1754.
Oh, not ducking underneath that set of spikes there.
He just crouched a little bit too late, it looked like? Or...
Nice top room with the corner boost there.
And getting those numerous bounces. Just very nicely done.
And Sushi just knee deep in this battle with Battle. And nice ultras there. And again, this is like one of the most iconic scenes. And also, if you're going to speedrun the game and you're just starting out, I personally feel that the battle and fight is what you want to learn first.
Yeah.
It just incorporates a lot of movement. And I'm not saying go and do all the strats that these guys are doing, but just get a feel for how everything goes. And you really want to it's almost autopilot, so to speak, where you're just like, or scripted is probably the best way to put it, where you just know exactly what you're going to do as soon as you enter, until you're just to the point where if you started playing that song, you can just imagine the run happening in your mind. I know that helped me out a whole lot when I started running this game.
Oh yeah, I can definitely see that. And just getting the practice time in and just getting better with Madeline's movement, not spending way too much time on specific tricks, and rather just going to optimize all of your movement is so important. Oh, and Flad taking a laser death, unfortunately, right at the beginning of this battle and fight. Sushi meanwhile making very steady progress.
Yeah, heading into round 2 of Battling here. So again, the main difference here is that Battling is just not having it now. And she's actually able to take control of these blocks and move them with, I don't know.
Telepathy, I guess?
Determination?
Oh, yeah, fair. Could be.
She's determined to prove to Madeline that she's not a mountain climber, so she's pulling out all the stops. But Madeline's like, nope. I'm going to show you that we can climb this mountain. We're only going to be able to do it if we work together. And Sushi on this last screen here, we're going to see if he's going to get this feather. He is going to get it.
And it looked like Flad took another death back there just a little ways.
Nice.
And Sushi with the boost up there at 2031. We'll see when Flat ends up matching. Not a bad run. A little bit behind that first run, but still really nice and respectable. 2038 going into Summit.
Right now, Flat getting ready for his second round here. And Sushi is getting ready to begin his final ascent towards the summit. And again, we have those 2 dashes, and I can really appreciate Matt and Noel's level design by incorporating a second dash. I think it's really cool how they just kind of there's just a lot more gaps, and they're just really pummeling home this is the mechanic that you have to use to get to this game.
Yep. But it's really cool. I think the symbolism of that, you cannot get to the summit unless you work with that part of yourself that doubts you. And that's just such a neat and neatly expressed message. Flad narrowly...
The save, though. Oh, my gosh.
Wow.
Let's go.
The feather skip.
This is crazy because he's on a completely different cycle. Oh, my gosh. Yo. Dude, that is a superb save.
Yeah, being able to be aware of Battlin's position and where she's about to fire during that save was just, that is something a lot of players would have just been completely stuck with.
Yep.
But Vlad is no ordinary player at all. That's for sure. So it looks like he's about 30 seconds behind going into Summit.
Right now, Sushi heading into 1,000 here. And again, folks, even though like Sushi is ahead, it's all boils down to IGT, in-game timer. So it's still, I feel it's anybody. Anything can happen. I mean, we get like 1,500 coming up. We got some long rooms there, 2,000 as well.
Yeah.
Like Sushi is he's still obligated to play as clean as possible, like, and not have any major mistakes to happen.
Oh yeah, definitely. The cleaner he plays, the better he improves his chances of going ahead and taking home this second win and the additional point for the match winner.
Right now, Vlad getting through the opening here to Summit as Sushi now flying into 1,500. Excellent work in that first long room here. Sushi now getting into the triple ultra room. Getting himself set up. Oh, I'm going to have to improvise there, but able to get away scot-free.
You know, that's really the most important part at the end of the day, is just being able to get through that section without any sort of hiccups.
And now Vlad in 1,000. And then we're going to see these nice hypers. Oh my gosh, very clean movement to that first screen.
Yeah, Sushi, meanwhile, just now entering 2,000 in order to make his way up into the Mirror Temple.
Yeah, Fladervy is carving through the 1,000 right now. Just tackling all these dream blocks head on. And then just sneaking a few ultras in there too. Let's go. Oh, getting a little ahead of himself there.
Still fine. Pretty quick death and a nice recovery.
Oh, well, that was a very nice 1,000 here as he's heading into 1,500 now. In game one, he did run into a little bit of mishap in this second room here, right at the end, so nice. Woo!
Okay, so Sushi getting up into Mirror Temple at about 25.
Oh my God, he is carving through 1,500 right now. I am blown away.
What?
Just the speed that Vlad is busting through 1,500 right now is just crazy.
Certainly trying to make up for lost ground, that's for sure.
And now Sushi in 2,500 here. I mean, if you want to put this in perspective, I believe that like Sushi was in 1,000 when Vlad got into Summit, and now there's only about a 500-meter difference between the two of them.
Yeah, that's really wild.
This long room here on Vlad's screen. Sushi getting ready for door skip. Missing the first attempt.
And he does get the first one the second try, and the second one second try. So I guess that ultimately counts as 1/3 of a door skip. I don't know. I don't know how that mathematics works.
Flat getting auto scroll skip first try. And now Sushi getting into 3,000 here at 26.26. So let's see how things are gonna go here. Now again, like Sushi, that flag 23 to flag 22, he's was able to get it, but I know it's been on his mind from his practice prior to PACE.
Yep. That's always brutal when you have like one specific subsection that you know that you're bad at, and no matter how much time you pour into it, it just doesn't really get quite better.
It's very easy to just get that mental block forward. Here we go. All right, he gets through it again. Just making his way through. Getting ready for flag number 20 here. Nicely done. All Flat now getting towards his key skip here. Now Sushi in the updraft portion. Making his way through onto flag number 14. Flat about to get into the thread the needle room. Nicely done, and gets ready for door skip as well. You got a 1.
And 2, nice.
There you go, nice.
They make some really steady progress through Mirror B.
Now Sushi running into flag number 11. Oh, taking it. See, running into these spikes here on flag number 9, and just having a little bit of hang up here. Thankfully, he got that flag, because if he'd have missed that, he would have been sent back a little too far.
Yep. That's always rough to have to go back to an out-of-date checkpoint like that.
Sushi hitting into flag number 3. Looking to be pretty consistent with his times here. He had, what, a 29... What was his first run time again?
It was a 29:10.
10, yeah. So he's on course to be around that time as well. Flag 1 left to go. He did take a death last time. Not this time. Cutting so close. Madeline probably felt the spikes underneath her sneakers, and she's going to clock in at 29.11, folks.
Wow. Just 1 second off of that first run. Talk about consistency.
It's now Flag getting through flag number 13 here. No, this is... Oh.
Oh.
I was going to try to see if we can get that dash crystal there, but just didn't get enough movement. And again, not... All right, there we go. All right, flag, skipping flag number 10 here. The neutral jump up here to get to battle in again. Jumping into flag number 6.
You're getting really close to that home stretch here.
Now getting into flag number 3. Skipping flag number 2.
You can't say I really blame him. You want to go ahead and save as much time as you can at this point.
All right, flag 1 now, home stretch here. All right, flag is going to clock in at 29.51.
Nice.
52, I'm sorry. That transition covers up the IGT, so
And we can see Flat on the screen now. We're going to go ahead and be leaving the stage. And
Sushi yet again.
I'm going to go ahead and get a quick sip of water, it looks like. And smile at the boys.
Waving to everybody out in Twitch land.
So there we go. What a nice second race with Sushi actually going ahead and taking the win for this set. Now in this third race, he'll be shooting for that one last point. So
yeah, this is actually very interesting. So now Sushi with 3 points altogether, with potential to take 4 and to tie Tej, at least for now, going into the rest of day 3. It puts him in a good position because he has Chai Kitty left to play, and if he's able to continue on this tear, like he might be able to just sneak in and get into top to the grand finals.
Yep, and that's kind of the thing here is with Vlad only having 3 points and now only having the opportunity to get one more, that race against Tej is going to be so important for him. And especially if Sushi ends up winning against Chai Kitty, like you said, that could put him right into the grand finals and really require that Vlad end up maybe taking that full 3-0 set, which that is going to be wild. If something like that does happen, oh man.
Yeah, that's going to be
super
bonkers. But, that's tight too. I mean, Sushi came in, I think, in the 4th seed overall. So, like, for him to jump ahead like that and make those moves. And we saw it yesterday too, playing against Tej and just literally being on par with him up to Summit as well. So,
yeah, the grind that he's put forth has really made a huge impact. That's
the practice and everything is paying off. And, what better time to pull out all the stops than here at PACE in the top 4.
Now, let's talk a moment, though, about those Bubs drop issues with Vlad. So that's basically the opposite of our prediction.
Yeah.
Like, I think maybe that first fail just rattled him. Because, I mean, remember, as soon as it failed, like, he slammed his fist down. He was obviously really upset by that.
And it's easy to just, like, let that come right back into play. It's just like, oh, and I'm going to do this again. I mean, it's hard. Bubs drop is I'd say that Yeet is a hard trick, but because of the fact that it's, if you make a mistake, it's not that bad. But like with Bubs drop, it's also a difficult trick too, but there's just so much more riding on it. And it's so easy to get flustered and frustrated every time that you make that mistake. I mean, and ideally, if you're in an 80% run at home and you fail Bubs drop, that's just a restart. Like, we're going to restart. But seeing that we are in a race situation, you basically don't have that option. You have to keep going. You have to keep pushing yourself. So it's very easy to just get caught up in that, just like, here we go again. And like, I know all the runners have experienced that. I mean, especially here too, like, everybody has had to restart at least one time. So it's just, you have to try your best to just get that mental block out of your head. And it's tough, but, I think if any runner is able to do it, it would be Fladervy. Like, just to break through. So
definitely. And I think also he's probably used to playing in those, like, not necessarily bad state of mind, but just not like with that super what's the word I'm looking for? He's never super overly confident in his runs. It's always like a little bit overly self-critical, self-deprecating, but it works for him. It's something that I guess he just doesn't have outrageous expectations for himself. And so, when he has these little mistakes here and there, he'll get agitated, but it's not like, oh, come on, this is so bad, I can do so much better than this. It's just like, okay, great game. And so I don't know. It's really going to depend on how easily he's able to refresh in between these two races, as far as whether he's going to be able to go ahead and take this 1 point off of Sushi.
Yeah, no, I agree. I feel it's hard, especially when you have the previous race too, and just that has to be also be on his mind as well. And I think like the best advice that I would give is just that when you get to 5B, I would just say, like, just take a 30-second break. Like, get yourself in that mindset where you're just like, okay, we're gonna do this, we're gonna knock this out. It's gonna be a non-issue.
Yeah, because I mean the menu doesn't count towards IGT, so just take a few seconds. Just
take a few seconds and get yourself composed. And the league allows a brief break in between.
Yeah.
And I have seen that in many runs, in many races, where it just makes a difference. I mean, I can even speak for myself. If you want to go back to like when I first was doing like the speed gaming races, there was a point where, like, for some reason in Old Site, I forgot how to do one of the battle and chase rooms, and I spent 2 minutes in that room, like 2 literal minutes.
Jeez.
Yeah, and I was so shook. And so once I got done with it, I just sat and waited like for a good minute before I moved forward, because I was like super in my head, like, God, what are we gonna do? How am I gonna get out of this? Unfortunately, I did not win that race, but I was able to get to the point where I only lost by like 9 seconds.
Wow.
Yeah. So even though it was that bad, I was like, well, the rest of the run was phenomenal and just was able to pick it up. So it really does make a difference. It's just, you have to get in that mindset when you're trying to tackle those things.
Yep. And so we see them going ahead and setting up for their next race here. Just a little bit of a just temporary wait.
All right, so we're gonna get these prepared here. And again, Susan just playing out of his mind, man. Like, super hyped about that. And then also, we do have TGH versus Chai Kitty coming up as well. That I am actually very excited to look forward to. I know that both of the runners were practicing last night. They're doing a little bit of warm-up today, getting prepared for their race. And then we also have, Odyssey coming up later in the day, and okay. And then we also have 64 later as well. Unfortunately, I do not have the schedule on hand. I can get that real quick. Just give me 1 second here to try to horribly sing to you.
An interesting little note. I just saw Vlad actually listening to music on his phone, maybe trying to use some sort of hype song or calming song. I mean, it's a strategy we've seen a lot of other athletes use in the professional world, so certainly one that we could also see here. And while we're taking this brief moment